Hello, my name is Melinda Davila, and I am a registered nurse and a family nurse practitioner student. Today I'll be discussing the topic of teenage depression and suicide. In the United States of America, over 500,000 students try to commit suicide each year. So, this video is for you parents who either clicked on this video to learn about the different signs of depression and stop the progression of suicide, or you clicked on the video because you are already concerned about your child. This video will give you different tips and hints and warning signs of what to expect when a child has depression, as well as what to do if you believe that your child is suicidal. Different warning signs include poor, sudden grades. This is something that if your child is usually an A student, B student, and all of a sudden they start to get C's, you might want to address this with them. Another change that might occur is students writing or talking about suicide more often. If this is something that you're seeing, be open to talking to your child about this. Another thing that you might see is the giving away of possessions. This is a more obvious sign, but it's often seen and parents miss it. If your child starts to give away their items to a younger sibling or friends, you would want to address the subject of suicide with them. Another thing that you might see is changes in sleeping patterns. So this is something that is sudden, unexplained changes in sleeping patterns. For example, if your child stayed up all night cramming for a test and then the next couple of days their sleeping patterns a little unchanged or changed, then you wouldn't want to necessarily address suicide with them. But if a child has always slept very well and had a good sleeping pattern and all of a sudden cannot sleep, has insomnia, or oversleeps throughout most of the day, suicide and depression is something that you would want to address with your child. The next thing are increased use of drugs and alcohol. Children who use these two things are often at an increased risk of suicide and depression. Once again, you would want to address this. So now that you know the warning signs of depression and suicide, what do you do if you believe that your child is suicidal? The first thing that you want to do is ask your child blanketly, are you suicidal? Do you think of harming yourself? A lot of parents feel uncomfortable with these questions, but if a child is asked outright, they will oftentimes give the correct answer that they're feeling without any hesitation. By doing this, you could stop a suicidal attempt before they even think about all the ways to do it. The next thing that you want to do is don't be afraid or ashamed to send them to a counselor. A lot of parents are afraid of family or friends finding out, or even the school that the child goes to. So if that's how you feel, you can always find a private counselor to have your child talk to. The next thing that you want to do is talk regularly to your child about the subject. Don't be afraid to assess your child after a breakup or after the loss of a loved one, or if they're doing bad in school. A child that is able to talk more openly to their parent will be more likely to tell their parent about their suicidal attempts. The next thing that you want to do, which is very, very important in a teenager that is depressive, is remove any lethal items from the house, including guns or prescription pills. Children can often overdose or try to use a gun to harm themselves. In the United States, the #1 way of suicidal attempts is by gun possession. Therefore, in the house, you would want to make sure that your gun is locked away and safely removed from the child. The last thing that you want to do is, in an emergent case, is call 911. If you believe that your child is an imminent threat to themselves, you would want their assistance immediately. If you feel like your child is having suicidal thoughts or depressive, you can also call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. This allows the child to talk to this hotline anonymously and give the information needed if they don't feel comfortable in talking to a parent or another authoritative figure. The number for this hotline is 1-800-273-8255. Thank you very much.